Hey, my name is Jim, and I collect graded magazines, specifically Sports Illustrated, but I do some other stuff too, like game programs and some other publications. For me, it's the perfect combination of sports cards and comic book collecting. Obviously, sports cards because I collect magazines with sports stars on it, but also comic book collecting because the physical item is so similar to a comic book. And sports cards and comic book collecting are huge. Graded magazines are kind of a new hobby and growing like crazy, but still pretty small, especially relatively compared to sports cards and comic books. And I always, whenever I get a shipment back from the company that grades these, so the company that grades magazines, the only one that does it currently, is called CGC. They are the largest comic book grading company in the world. So highly respected. Whenever I have an order that goes out to CGC and I get the issues back, I do an unboxing video. So regular viewers will know the rules. I know what these issues are. I don't know what the grades are. I don't peek on my CGC account and look at what the grades are. You get an honest reaction from me on whether or not I'm excited or completely devastated and disappointed. And it doesn't take much to make me disappointed because I'm a bit of a grade snob. So I have been waiting for this shipment. So what do we have here? Modern issues, bunches of first covers, some Slam magazines in here, which are very cool. But there's one issue in particular, and I'm probably the only person in the world that's excited about this issue. But it is a first cover of a Hall of Fame, massive superstar. And I've been waiting for this one to come back, and I want to make sure that I grab these from the right way and that we take a look at these. So there's no peeking going on. But yeah, it's a huge superstar. Got a soft spot in my heart for that team and that player, and crossing my fingers on that one. But we'll get to it. So tons of great stuff here, and let's rock and roll and get started. Okay, Slam. I told you there's lots of Slams. So this is Kobe Can't Be Stopped. So this is the Slam magazine. Came out on March 1998. This is the highest graded copy in the world. It's a pop 1 of 1. There are none higher here at 8.0. There are a couple of 7.0s, 6.5, and some others out there. You know, I'm kind of into Slam magazines. I remember them from when I was a kid. If you aren't familiar with the publication, it was really big in the mid 90s and 2000s, focused exclusively on basketball. They are notoriously, horrendously condition sensitive. I just think it was the way they were produced, the production method, the ink, the paper, shipping, distribution, all of that just meant that these things really are difficult to find in a high grade. So very cool issue from 1998. Love Kobe sitting there in his number 8, his Lakers uniform. From 1998, Kobe Bryant Slam Magazine 8.0. And we are off and running. Gotta make sure I don't peek at these. Okay, that was fun. Starting off with a Slam magazine, a little different from Sports Illustrated. Okay, now this is more vintage. You can tell that Vantage ultralight cigarette ad on the back. This screams late 70s, early 80s. Oh! Man, 7.5 seems a little harsh. Seems a little harsh. Inside Sports. So this is... Did not get my labeling. Inside Sports. It's Joe Montana's first Inside Sports cover. This is the first time I've ever had an issue of Inside Sports graded. So this came out in August 1982. This is a pop 1 of 1, none higher. Joe Montana went to Notre Dame. I'm a big Notre Dame guy. But what I also think is cool of this is, you know, Joe Montana was, maybe the biggest athlete in the world in 1982. Won the Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers. He was on every major publication. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He was on the cover of Newsweek. He was on the cover of Time. And here he is on the cover of Inside Sports. And so I owned the Sports Illustrated, Newsweek, and Time. And I just kind of wanted this one to round out that collection of having everything from him from that period in time. So tough issue. They were a little aggressive on that 7.5 grade, but take it and we'll move on. Okay, next up. That's a fun issue, regardless of the grade. Oh! This is painful. This is painful. This is Zion Williamson. This is his first Slam magazine cover. It came out in August 2017. He's in his high school uniform there. Total bummer on this one at 9.6. There is a 9.8 out there. I am still of the belief that I think Zion Williamson, can get past this rocky start and injuries he's had in his career and be a dominating player in the NBA. So, 9.6. That is on a Zion Williamson Slam first cover. That is painful. That's a gut punch. That's painful. All right, move on. What's next? Okay, this is another 9.6. This is the Jordan Y cover. It came out on October 18th, 1993. This was his first retirement. Keep in mind, Jordan retired 3 times. But this was the first retirement in 1993. So keep in mind here, I own this at 9.8. Pop reports. There's 4 9.8s. There are now 2 9.6s. There are 3 9.4s. Why would you send this in if you already had it 9.8? Well, you got to remember, if you're new, I had a goal of collecting all. Michael Jordan's been on Sports Illustrated cover 50 times. I wanted to get all 50 copies graded, and obviously I wanted the highest grade possible. I finally got my last issue that I needed a few months ago, but I've still got a ton of submissions of Jordan issues in the CGC pipeline that have been sitting there for a year or two, waiting to get them back. So you're going to see a lot of Jordan issues on my future videos still trickle in as I'm trying to either upgrade or was still looking for that 9.8 and that sort of stuff. 9.6 seems unfair on that one. Cool issue. Two 9.6s in a row. All right, next up. 9.2. Interesting. Real tough issue. So let's go through this. This is famous. This is the Jordan hologram cover. Came out on December 23rd, 1991. Huge pop reports on this. And there's really some interesting stories to talk about along that. Again, 9.2 seems like a harsh grade on this one. So the pop reports, there are 24 9.8s. I own one of them at 9.8. There are 29 9.6s. There are 27 9.4. So huge population counts out there on that. And that's because everybody saved this issue. This issue, I mean, you see the hologram. I'm trying to cover up that glare. You see that hologram? I mean, you got to remember, in 1991, this was crazy technology, and for Sports Illustrated to put this on a magazine and distribute it like that just blew people's minds. It was crazy. Never seen anything like this before. And it was Michael Jordan, and they had just won the NBA championship, and he was the biggest athlete in the world, the greatest thing in the world. So everybody saved them, and everybody went out to the newsstand and bought extra copies and tucked them away because we all thought it would be collectible, and it turned out we were right on this one. But there's just tons of these out there. But despite that, it is a very condition-sensitive issue, and that's because you've got all this dark ink along the spine and along the edges there, and the flaws just show up great. But it's the sheer volume of copies that are out there and that have been graded are why the high-grade pop reports are so high, why there's 24 9.8s. But it's still very, very difficult to get this in a 9.8, more so than your average run-of-the-mill issue. But the reason why there's so many out there, again, like I said, is because everybody bought that one and everybody had that one. All right, come on, 9.8, where you at? Oh, not here, but I don't care. Oh, boom, this is big. On my last unboxing video, I had Archie Manning's first Sports Illustrated cover, which you can see at the bottom there. This is Eli Manning's first Sports Illustrated cover. I'm sorry, Peyton Manning's first Sports Illustrated cover. I'm not seeing the flaws on it. At least the labeling is there. I can't remember if it was there before or this is the first one. But okay, let's go. This is a great grade, and let's talk about why. Peyton Manning, first Sports Illustrated cover, August 26th, 1996. There is one 9.8. Mentioned this before. I used to own that, and like an idiot, I sold it a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I've been trying to climb back up that 9.8 wall and haven't gotten there yet. There's one 9.6. There are now two 9.4s. This is Peyton Manning. That's a really low pop count. Two 9.4s, one 9.6, one 9.8. Really hard. Again, condition sensitive, lots of dark ink along the spine. And, you know, when an athlete comes out and their first cover is from when they're in college, you know, they're not a big superstar yet. They're still a college player. And while Peyton was huge in college, he was not the Peyton Manning Hall of Famer that we know today. And so people most likely didn't save him as much as they would have saved anything else. I've talked about this a lot before too. I also believe that a player's collectability is affected by how much they stay in the public eye after retirement. So Peyton's collectability is still very, very strong. The Manning cast on ESPN. He's just formed his new production company, Omaha Productions. He's probably going to be an owner of a team in the future. He's keeping himself in the public eye. It keeps Peyton Manning's collectability really high. 9.4, pop one of two graded higher on one of the greatest all-time quarterbacks ever. I love this issue. I own several others. I've got some raw ones here that I need to send out, and this 9.4 is absolutely beautiful, and I love that. Peyton Manning from 1996, first cover, 9.4, not a 9.8. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. Oh. I remember sending this one in. I remember it being better than an 8.0. And I'm not, okay, there's a bend on the back. This is disappointing. This is a bummer. This is the Newsweek 1992 Dream Team. So obviously the Sports Illustrated Dream Team cover from 1991, highly collectible. I came across this one, thought it was really cool. July 16th, 1992, there is a 9.2. There are two 9.0s. There are two 8.5s. And now there's this 8.0. Did not get my labeling. I think this is Jordan's first Sports Illustrated cover, or Jordan's first Newsweek cover and Bird's first Newsweek cover. I'm not sure about Magic. That's a bummer. 8.0. That one looks better than that. Still a very cool issue, and still the Dream Team. Okay, next up. Oh, that's very nice. Oh, that is very, very nice. This is Mike Tyson and the Too Much cover. So this came out on February 1st, 1988. You were looking at a pop 1 of 1, none graded higher. That is fabulous. That is just a beautiful looking issue. I'm a big, big Tyson fan. Tyson had just beat Larry Holmes to retain all three belts and was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in 1988. He was the baddest man in the world. And I don't claim to be a boxing expert. I'm not going to say Tyson was the greatest boxer of all time. He was probably the most ferocious boxer of all time, and for my money, most exciting boxer of all time. I mean, his speed and what he had behind those punches, combined with that speed, laid people on their ass all day long. All right, 9.4 Tyson. Ooh, tight, man. That's a nice grade. Ooh. Now, come on. Karma's supposed to get me. This is what, the third 9.6 in this box? Not one 9.8? Not sure what the problem is on this one. Mookie Betts. I'm a big Mookie Betts fan. Won a World Series, playing with the Dodgers now. This is back when he was at the Red Sox. This came out on March 27th, 2017. I talked about this a lot before. This is Mookie Betts' first cover. We all love first covers. I'm even bigger fan of variant first covers because they are much more rare than where they produce one cover and distribute it to the whole country. So this is a 1 of 3 variant Mookie Betts first cover at 9.6. I already own this at 9.8. But I think that guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. So I'm trying to get as many Mookie Betts 9.8 first covers as I can. 9.6. That's a bummer. Next up. Okay. I might be done. I might just turn the camera off and forget the rest of the frickin' box at this point. Another 9.6. This is Tiger Walk. Came out on April 22nd, 2002. There is a 9.8. This is a 9.6, so it's a pop 1 of 1 with 1 graded higher. Just a cool looking issue. I've been getting a lot of Tiger issues in lately. This was taken, shot was taken at the 2002 Masters that he had won that year. It was his 3rd overall Masters win and his back-to-back. He won in 01 and 02. So I think it's a very collectible Tiger cover. And I think that's my 4th 9.6 in this box. There's been so many I can't count, really. I've lost track. I'll say this. Okay, I need some good juju here. So, good vibes. I told you, there's one issue in here that I'm waiting for. If I can pop a 9.8 on that, I'll take all the 9.6s. But if I can't, you may see me crying in the corner in the fetal position. There it is. There it is. There it is. This is the one. This is the one I needed. I'll take all those 9.6s, throw them in the trash. Doesn't matter. This is the one I wanted and I needed. Not going to let the fact that they did not break out this variant or give me my labeling dampen my mood on this. You do not recognize this cover. Calvin Johnson, Megatron. God, I even asked them to put Megatron on there and they didn't do that either. Megatron, first Sports Illustrated cover, October 10th, 2011. This right here is a pop 1 of 1, none higher. Just like the Mookie Betts. This is a 1 of 3 variant. Impossible issue. This issue's only 11 years old. If you're looking for one that's a newsstand, good luck finding it. Really impossible to find. Alabama football and the Boston Bruins were on the other 2 covers that came out this week. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Detroit Lions. I lived in the Detroit metro area for several years there in the late 80s, early 90s. I went to a ton of Lions games because the tickets were cheap and there was nobody there. I'm talking about, the Silver Dome in Pontiac, 80,000 seat stadium, and there's 20,000 people there. It was a lot of fun. I was a kid. It was great. Tickets were cheap. You had the place to yourself, and you had Barry Sanders. And Barry Sanders was fun to watch, even on a terrible team. And I feel that Megatron had a lot of that similar going on with him. It's so much fun to watch. The Lions stunk terribly. But I was a huge Megatron fan, and like I said, still have a little bit of my soft spot in my heart for the Lions because they stunk for so long, and have friends in Detroit area still, and went to a ton of Lions games way back in the day. I can talk about this issue for an hour. 9.8 Megatron. The Hungry Lions. Do you believe Detroit does? That's the frickin' headline. Detroit didn't believe. Lions fans did. Nobody believed. They were terrible. They're still terrible. Although I think the Lions will be a little bit better this year. I'm going to be, when this video's done, it's going to be me sitting here in my office looking at this for probably the next hour or so. That's the one I needed. That's the one I wanted, bad, and needed at 9.8. And the rest of this box is all gravy. Let's just rip through these things. Yeah, okay. Don't care. 8.5 Luka. Not going to bother me any. Slam Magazine, Luka Doncic, March 2021. This is also a variant. It's a 1 of 2 variant. Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets was on the other cover. Pop reports, there are 3 9.8s, there are 5 9.6s, there are 4 9.4s. This 8.5 ain't good. Like I've talked about many times, Slam's really hard, really condition sensitive, really difficult to get a high grade in Slam magazines. By the way, this is not Luka's first Slam magazine cover. His first cover came out in July 2018. I've never seen that cover in real life. Never. It's impossible to find in newsstand. I've seen some with mailing labels on them and that sort of stuff. But yeah, so not Luka's first cover, but still a great one and one I like a lot. And after the Megatron 9.8, yeah, 8.5 doesn't rattle me so much. I'm good. Gonna be a great day. 9.4 LeBron, it's okay. Not a big deal. That was the packing list that was in there. This is LeBron James. This is the One Promise issue. So this came out on August 8th, 2016. There are 2 9.8s, and then there's this 9.4. This was right after Cleveland won the title. Always collectible and always looking good. LeBron James. 9.4 looks a little hard. A little rough on that grade there. All right, next up. 9.4 Kobe. This is a good grade. This is a good grade on this issue. Yeah, so this is Playoff Dreams. This came out on April 21st, 2008. There's 1 9.6. There is 1 9.4. And there are a couple 9.0s. I keep trying for that 9.8 on this one. Very condition sensitive. It's all outlined in black. There's tons of black ink on the cover. There's tons of black ink on the back. Every little flaw is going to come screaming out. Really tough issue here. That's Kevin Garnett with him on the cover. They shared a cover at least twice, maybe 3 times, I know. But good looking issue. 9.4 for Kobe. Last one. See, after Megatron and the 9.8, a 9.6 LeBron's not going to shake me. Actually, this one does shake me a little bit. Yeah. See how fast the Megatron rainbow wore off? Yeah, this one pisses me off a little bit. This may be my favorite LeBron cover. I've talked about this a lot. This has appeared in a lot of my unboxing videos. I still own a bunch of these raw that I'm going to get graded. This is the Cleveland Rocks issue. This came out on May 25th, 2009. I just think visually, I talk about how these are a work of art. This is a great example of that. You can see LeBron. He's got his back to you. He's got his headband on. You got all the fans in the background. Cleveland Rocks is the headline. He's got the powder going up in the air, which he did before the beginning of every game. I just think this just captures LeBron to me in that snapshot in time. And I love the look of this issue. There is 1 9.8. I've been chasing that 9.8 to get the second one and haven't been able to get it. There are now 2 9.6s. There are 2 9.4s. One of my favorite LeBron issues, if not my favorite LeBron issue. And that 9.6 is tough to swallow. That's tough. But great box all around. Got my Megatron first cover at 9.8. Had a bunch of other great stuff in there. Comment, like, and subscribe here on YouTube, please. That helps me out a lot. Gets me working with the algorithm there. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you have not joined the Facebook group, it is a great group. Just go to Facebook groups and search CGC Sports Illustrated. Join that group. CGC Sports Illustrated is my username on every platform. Appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot.